Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Villager Dev playthrough. Hello, we are back. Last episode we did the miner. You can see there he is over there, good old tavern. Tavern, I think is his name. We're having some pathing issues here, so Tavin's a little bit confused. Tavin's doing good, though. He's bringing up the redstone like a champ. We've got 2 farmers, a child that's bouncing around here somewhere. We've got a miner, 2 lumberjacks. Yeah, we're doing good. Today we have a token for another farmer. I want to get another farmer going. Probably another miner even, because the miner is turning out to be really profitable. But we're going to focus on the chef today. So that's going to be toward the end of the episode where we cover the chef. I made a couple changes to basic things regarding like children and stuff based on feedback from last episode that I want to go over that probably first. And then we're really going to cover the eating system and hunger and food and all that stuff, which I've basically revamped completely in the last few days, and I'm actually really excited about where it's at. So we should have probably like 8 or 9 villagers. We're probably gonna get another house today. It's gonna be a big episode. All right, so the first 2 changes that I want to cover are with children. I've changed a couple things with them based on feedback from you guys, because the ideas that you guys have are amazing. So the first one was, get over here, Wendell Galral. The first change is that I don't know, who's he running to? He's playing tag by himself, or he just likes running around, I guess. He's a happy little kid. The first change is that children will now keep the last name of their parents. Or their parent, the way the system kind of works. So basically, whatever whatever adult villager went to bed and made the heart item that we saw last episode, the heart remembers that villager, and then when you use it, it will give the child a new first name, but the same last name of that villager. So I haven't done one yet. We'll have to wait till the next one to see if it actually works, but I think it's a pretty cool feature. And now you'll see as night falls, I also changed another thing with children, and that's that they will go to bed a little bit sooner than adults. It doesn't mean that they'll go inside sooner. So every villager has like 2 times. They have the time where they're like, I'm done with today, I'm going home. And that's where they just hanging out at their house for a little bit, which it looks like is happening right about now. Yep, here they all come. But the children will actually go to sleep much sooner. So they're probably only going to hang around for a little bit here. I'm not going to wait. Door. I'm not going to wait, but we'll see if it turns out to work that way. Okay, they're all wandering around their home, doing their little socializing. And you see they get little green sparkles above their head. That's when they're talking to their housemates here and getting a little bit happier from their socialization. I do want to change, by the way, when we get to homes and stuff, I do want to change this so like the bigger their home is, the more happy they are at night and all that kind of stuff. But we're not there yet. But I am waiting for the child to go to sleep. So, there he goes. Perfect. Okay. There it goes. It shows that it's working. The child has gone to bed early. Of course, he's a little bit zombie. I forgot to give children eyelids, apparently. Might have to fix that. All right, waking up to a new day. Here, my bed is in the town hall. That's where I sleep. I should probably make a house for myself eventually. I want to show you guys what I've been up to here. I've been doing some trading here. We're up to 45 emeralds. I traded like a bunch of potatoes, a bunch of wheat, some logs, logs of different kinds, I think, and we still have a farmer token left over. So we're doing pretty good on the economy. And I think last episode I mentioned that I was kind of getting a little concerned that things are a bit too cheap. But we've addressed that, and I'm going to go over that in a little bit. We're going to do food first, but after we cover food and eating, we're going to cover a big change that's coming to the economy with these vendors here. Food. Let's talk about how these villagers eat food, and I've completely rewritten the system from what we had. So what I had was a very simple, very brutish system. Oh, look, they're hungry. They're so hungry. Or maybe he probably needs carrots to plant. That's what I think he's doing. He's telling us that he wants to plant carrots, but he can't. These guys are eating constantly, and I have some concerns with the system that I just put in. Not in the functionality of it, but in some of the numbers I think might need to be tweaked. But let's go over food and hunger at its core here, right? So you can right-click on a villager and see this second bar here is their hunger bar, okay? 100 hunger means they're completely satiated and burping. Anything below 30 means they are hungry and they want to eat food. And if they get down to 0, they are officially starving and will start taking damage and eventually die. So the previous food system I had was kind of just using the vanilla values for food, using some of the innate hunger values and satiated value or saturation values to figure out how much to give them back and stuff like that. I've gone and changed that all now. So now I come up with a custom food system that assigns 2 values to all foods. Looks like they're harvesting the same crop there. Oh, Leighton's having a bad day. He's very sad. So food will do two things now. It will obviously modify your hunger and raise your hunger bar, but food will also modify your happiness, usually for the better. But if you're eating kind of bad food like these farmers are, it's going to actually lower your happiness. So here we go. Let's take a look at the chart for all the new values I've come up with for hunger and happiness modifiers for all the foods that villagers could potentially eat. Now, there's a lot to take in here, so let me kind of explain here. You're going to see a huge diversity in the values of how, or in the quality of food that they can eat. So one of the big factors I took into account here when coming up with these values is how much work it took or it takes for your village as a whole to achieve this food. So for instance, coming up with a beetroot or a raw potato, not a lot of work. You know, the farmers just got to plant it in the ground, they got to pick it up, and they got to eat it. That's about it once it grows. But coming up with something like cooked beef, which obviously is a hugely beneficial food here, requires a lot. You need 4 different villagers. You got to have a rancher who's feeding the baby cows, making them grow up, feeding them with the wheat from the farmer. You got to have a butcher with a butcher shop who's going to take the cows once they grow up over to the butcher and harvest them, deliver the raw meat. The chef's got to pick up the raw meat, bring it to the tavern to cook it and bring it back, all just for one piece of steak. So you can see the effort that goes in, but the rewards are huge. Now, if you see down toward the bottom list, there's a few that have an asterisk next to them. Just to clarify, those are foods that the villagers by themselves cannot obtain because basically there's some ingredient that the farmers can't harvest yet, which I haven't gotten to yet. I do plan to get to it eventually. That would be cocoa beans, melons, pumpkin pie, or not pumpkin pie, but pumpkins, and mushrooms. Once we get those, then that whole process will be complete. But you could supply those missing ingredients and the chef will still make them for now. So you can see there's a lot of different ways you can feed your villager. If you, depending on which types of villagers you want to focus on. If you just want to do farmers and a chef, which is what I'm going to have at the end of this episode, that's totally fine. You know, if you could just do like a lot of baked potatoes or a lot of bread, and you're going to have some pretty good quality food there. You'll also see I've added golden carrots recently, which is pretty much a superfood. If you're a big mining town, oh, it's getting nighttime. It's getting nighttime. I need to head into bed here. If you're a big mining town, maybe you'll pull up enough gold where you could actually just make golden carrots and feed your villagers with that. It might be an interesting thing to try. Who knows? A lot of different avenues you could take here. You'll see things like cake and pumpkin pie and cookies have super high happiness values, but they're not so great on the hunger, saturation at all. So it's up to you to figure out what you want to focus on. Oh, good. There she is. I really thought I lost a lumberjack in the middle of the night. I have no idea where you've been there, Sienna Gold Runner, but you scared me. I thought I lost one tonight. I think next episode we're almost definitely doing the guard, because I definitely need a guard at night. I want to put a wall around this place, get it all more secured. I don't like zombies everywhere in my town at night. So hunger is an interesting little system. 0 to 100 is the scale, and a lot of things lower hunger. Pretty much anything a villager does, any kind of mental exertion, physical exertion, any job they do, anything productive they do will lower hunger at different rates. Things that they do a lot of and that don't require a lot of exertion, like a farmer harvesting a potato, will only lower your hunger a little bit because they do it so many times a day. But like a blacksmith crafting a breastplate is going to take a ton of hunger because it's a big, long, involved process. I had to balance hunger with, I want generally all the villagers to kind of get hungry at the same rate. So I got to balance, what kind of work do they do? How often do they do it? That sort of thing to determine how much hunger to take from each action that they do. I'm not going to cover all of them because there's probably about 50 of them. That'll be on a wiki or something whenever that exists, but just know that pretty much everything they do, they're getting more hungry, and they're going to constantly need to eat, probably multiple times a day. Oh no, look at, Miner has taken damage. He opened the door, there was a zombie outside the door right at dawn. So he just got pretty much wiped out. So because he's hurt so bad and he's so unhappy, he just went right back to bed. He's trying to heal up now, do the best he can. I need a guard in this town. So when we're talking about the specific AI components that all villagers, all residents of your town have, there's basically 2 of them. They know how to get food and they know how to eat food. It's not very complicated, all right? So for getting food, what that means is, does the villager need to go to storage to pick up more food? And if so, what food should they go pick up? So there is a function for how desirable every food is for a villager, and it's different for every villager and the state of that villager because because of their current hunger values and current happiness values. So the basic formula is the hunger that the food will provide plus some multiple of the happiness that it will also provide. And so the way it works is the more unhappy a villager is, the more desirable happy foods become. So for instance, if a villager has 80 happiness, they don't really need to eat some pumpkin pie or cookies or anything like that because their happiness is just fine. But if they're really hurting, then the foods that provide more happiness will become much more desirable for them. Now, the other thing to note is that the villagers will also, these guys are so sad. This is my concern with some of the values here. I'll go over that in a second. The other thing, though, is the villagers are smart with how they eat. They're not going to eat food that will push them over either one of their limits, that being hunger or happiness. So if they're at 50 hunger, well, they're not going to eat anyways because they're not going to be hungry. If they're at 30 hunger and they're just starting to get hungry, they're not going to eat a steak because that'll push them over 100. That food will be highly devalued to them. The same as it goes for happiness. If their happiness is at 90 for whatever reason, they're having a great day, and you want to feed them a piece of cake, they're not going to eat that cake, or they're going to devalue that cake. It won't be as appealing to them because it will waste happiness. Now, the big important thing is that all the benefits that villagers gain from food, they are halved. Both in hunger and happiness are halved if the food is not villager food, if it is not a green item food. So you can provide food to help your villagers, but just know that having the villagers make their own food is going to be way more effective in the end. So with these farmers, you can see the issue here already. These guys are just miserable now. And it's because of the new food system I put in, and that's because all they're eating is raw potatoes, pretty much. It's just raw potatoes all day, every day. They're eating horrible food, and every time they eat a raw potato, they get -1 happiness. And that's on top of doing their work, which is making them unhappy. So they don't have many things to look forward to right now. So they need some better food, and they're going to need a chef. The chef has become much more important to a village. So let's do it then. Let's do it. Let's get a chef in this town. Now, if you guys remember from the main What If videos, the chef works in the tavern, so we need to bring a tavern in here, and we're gonna bring in a beautiful tavern, and I think we're gonna put it right about here. I don't know, I gotta play with positioning and stuff, but a big tavern, and a tavern serves two purposes. It's where the chef cooks, but it's also where all your villagers go at night to get a little bit happier. So the tavern is going to be a huge benefit for us in terms of happiness, both in terms of entertainment at night, and also the chef will be able to start cooking some good food. So I'm thinking right around here. And there it is, huge building. This is a huge building, the tavern, which is good because there's a lot going on there, and I want to make this thing expandable, or I should say support as my village grows. So check it out. Let me give you a quick little fly around here of this place. Absolutely beautiful work here. We have 2 chimneys because there's one major fireplace and then kind of one stove for the kitchen area, which I'll show you now here. So we got our item frame ready to go. Open the doors, and it's just beautiful in here. We have tables all around. I'm going to start adding some chairs in a second. So we have 1, 2, 3 huge tables here in front of the fireplace and a couple little smaller ones out here. We've got the a note block here and over there. That indicates where so when we get a bard, that's where they will go to play their music. That's how the bard knows where to play when they're entertaining the masses at night. Great stuff here. We have a bar area over here, which I kind of like. And then in the back, we have our little kitchen area. Love it. With our open fireplace, we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 furnaces, so they could just cook tons of stuff here. 2 crafting benches, so this will easily support 2 chefs once we get them, which probably won't be long. We have stairs upstairs, a staircase that leads upstairs, but it doesn't really go anywhere for now. But either way, it's got some pretty cool look, so I love this place. I'm gonna get some chairs in here, and we're gonna get a chef. And speaking of chairs, I finally got around to adding a recipe for these. So here you go, recipe for the chair. Bam, and you can even reverse it over on this side too, like so. Chair, there you go. The icon looks weird, it's not rotated, but whatever. There's your chair. So this is a problem. Architect, I need a tavern, 45 emeralds. I need a chef. Where is he? Cake man. He's 7. I have a total of 45 emeralds on me. I mean, the tavern is pricey. Which is good, and we're gonna get into all the pricing changes in just a little bit, but I gotta do some trading. Oh, it's not much. It is not much. Couple more stacks of wheat here, It might be enough to let us get going here, but I'm not feeling good about... I'm spending a lot of my money. Ooh, redstone? Redstone? No. Okay, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close. I got 61 emeralds. I could do 45 for that. And let's see, where's the other guy? He was 7, so that's what, 52? But I'm all out of beds too. Both my houses are full. So I got like enough for... Yeah, I can't even afford a house 4. I'm gonna have to afford... I gotta put full names in there too. House 2. It's gonna have to be a house 2 for my new guy to sleep. That's okay. That's fine. So let's do this because it's gotta happen. So 45 emeralds for the tavern. Give me those back. Going over here. Find the chef. And I'm not gonna pay for that. Okay, there we go. Give me that. And we're gonna do the house. I should have done that while I was over here. House 2. Where is it? There it is. Set. We got 3 emeralds left. Okay, that's what we're gonna have to do here. We got to get this going. So we got one nomad here that came to visit us today, but that's good. That's all we need. I don't know where she's going, but we got Maya, what's her face? Maya Hindergrass. Let me see what she's got here. What are we packing here? We're packing, so this is the other thing I added. Random intelligence now on the nomads as well, and 40 intelligence is just insanely high for a new nomad, so she's a keeper. She's got a great blacksmith skill too, which in case I ever want to convert her, but I like it. Maya Hindergrass, you're going to be our chef for now, if I can find you. No. Oh, I lost my miner. Tavern fam has been killed by mob damage, and Wendell Garger has been... I let it stay night too long. And apparently they were stuck or something. I know babies, not babies, children, hi Creeper. I know children have major issues with pathfinding. They get stuck a lot. Oh, that sucks. That miner was getting good too. All right. Next episode, it's guard time and we're walling this city and we're lighting it up. I should have done that a long time ago. Yeah, on top of losing the child and the miner, we also lost that nomad with 40 intelligence because I shut the server down and came back and it was gone. I don't know. But anyways, we're going to put up a house and we're going to put up a tavern. All right. Major setback there. Yep. It's been that kind of day. Well, at least the tavern is being used. Everyone who is super sad is coming into the tavern. We're obviously going to cover the tavern in full in another episode, but basically, when people aren't happy, they come to the tavern at night, and nobody in my village is happy. So, relax and enjoy, I suppose. Nothing like having a casual conversation with some face-eating zombies staring at you outside the window. There we go, there we go. It's been a few days, but we finally got another nomad here. We got Bram Base. Here we go. What do you got for me, Bram? You got guard and cleric. Interesting. You're just a natural town defender. Maybe you'll be a guard later on someday, but right now you need to learn how to cook some food, and you have no intelligence. That makes me sad. Where are you going, Bram? Get over here. Come here, Bram. Become a chef now. There you go. Nice outfit. Now cook some food for these people. Some food that makes them happy. All right, so before we get our hands dirty with the chef in the kitchen, I want to show you guys a big change I've made to the token economy. That is for structure tokens and profession tokens. So I've made a brand new village here. Everything is new. You can see all the people are excited. They're just showing up here. All right, so check it out. We got like the architect for 45 emeralds for a tavern. That's the price we just got done paying, okay? Hey. Make some room here, guys, all right? Jeez, please, God. What I've done is I've made it so that every 5 profession tokens that you buy from a village, from the tradesman in a village ever, you get a 20% markup on all other tokens going forward. So that means profession tokens and structure tokens. Now, this was done for a good reason. That's because as the village gets more mature, as it gets a lot more skilled villagers, your ability to generate emeralds, it goes up way higher. So, you know, what is a good cost at a starting village is going to be trivial. Once you get, 30 villagers rolling around, you're going to be loaded in emeralds. So the costs have to go up. All right, so I just got done buying a whole ton of profession tokens here just to show you how it works. And that tavern that was 45 emeralds is now basically 90 emeralds. And that's the good thing about emeralds is there's blocks, so we can handle prices that go above the stack limit of 64 emeralds by just using emerald blocks, which is pretty convenient. Now, I'm sure there are some clever people out there that are saying, well, I'll just make a bunch of throwaway villages, buy some tokens there, destroy the village, make a new one, get all my tokens there, and then bring them over and use them in my main village. Well, that's not going to work now either, because along with this change now means that any profession tokens and structure tokens that you buy will only work in the village that you bought them in. So if a nomad shows up in town and you want to claim them, give them a profession, you have to use a profession token that you bought from the tradesman in that village. If you want to add a new building, it's got to be from the architect in that building. Otherwise, that structure won't register. So overall, I'm very pleased with this change. I think the system will be great. I may have to keep my eye on the numbers and tweak them. But what this is really going to do is it's going to make growing your village in the advanced stages still be a relevant and fun decision instead of everything just being trivial. So prices will stay relative to your ability to generate emeralds, which is a good thing. Hey, look, a chef. What do you say we figure out how this guy works and everything he does? He's a complicated little fella. He does lots of things with furnaces and crafting and picking up supplies and delivering it to the storehouse. He's pretty much the first villager that is not a gatherer of any kind. He just takes items from the storehouse, processes them into something better, and returns them. And what he does is incredibly useful. Okay, on your screen now are all of the AI components that the chef has, and we'll go through them one at a time. From top down, it is the priority that he tries to do things in. So starting with empty furnace, pretty self-explanatory. Anything he has cooked, he will take out of the furnace. He will only look in the tavern, though, for furnaces in the tavern. That's all he does. All his work is done in the tavern. So he'll look for any kind of food that was done in here, and also he will smelt charcoal in here as well too, which is exactly what he's doing right now, and that has a pretty high priority. So he's making charcoal right now. Oh, looks like he's making a wooden bowl while he waits for that to go. And you can see one of the charcoals he made, he put back in there to cook 8 potatoes now. So he's starting to be efficient. Okay, for smelting, things are a little bit more interesting. What he will do is go through all of the furnaces one by one in the tavern, which he just did right there, okay? First thing he's going to do in the first furnace he sees is say, can I put fuel in the fuel slot? Which basically means, is there no fuel in there? Is it not burning? And do I have a good fuel to put in there? And that would be logs or charcoal or coal. Obviously charcoal and coal are the same thing, and it'll put the best fuel he has in there. So obviously coal is going to be better than logs. It has a higher burn time, so he's going to put that in first. And after that, with smelting, he's going to basically look at the top slot and say, do I have anything in there that I want to cook? Now if he has no charcoal, that will be logs. He's going to give that priority to give himself more efficiency on future fuel. After that, it's going to be one of the main food ingredients that he can cook, which is the 4 meats, chicken, steak, sheep, and the last one I can't remember. There's another food. Pigs, of course, bacon. And then he'll also cook baked potatoes as well. Now, one of the big changes I just made with smelting and cooking, whatever you want to call it, and this applies to blacksmith and miners and everyone, is they're going to be a lot more efficient with their fuel. So previously it was just they throw any fuel in there, they throw anything in the top, and they cook it, and that's it, and they walk away. And it was pretty, putting a log in and charcoal in, you didn't really get the benefit of the charcoal. Now he puts fuel in, and depending on what fuel he puts in, he knows how much cook time that will provide, and then puts in a stack of items appropriate. So if he puts in charcoal, he's going to put in a stack of 8 items. If he puts in just a log, because that's all he has for whatever reason, he's going to put in just a single item up top. Now for crafting, it's pretty much what you'd expect. The chef has a handful of recipes that don't require smelting that he will manually go through at a crafting bench in the tavern. Those include, in order, golden carrots, beetroot soup, cake, bread, a wooden bowl, sugar, pumpkin pie, and cookies. And those things are going to all have a chance of lowering a little bit, adding a little bit of sadness, adding a little bit of hunger, but they also have the best chance of skilling him up in his chef skill as well. And the amount of time it takes the chef to make those items at the crafting bench is very dependent on their skill. This is the one place where the chef is really skill limited. So the amount of animations he has to go through, you see, for him to make one piece of bread right now, he's not a very good chef. He's sitting at that crafting bench and just repeating on this same bread animation for a little bit, longer than you would expect. But once his skill goes up, he's going to come up and bang that bread out and be done and out of the way. Deliver to storage is also what you'd expect. It's where the chef takes any items that he has crafted at the crafting bench or cooked in the furnace and delivers them all over to the storage area. So one of the great things I just recently changed about all AI components that end in the community storage area is that for the next AI cycle, any other AI jobs that they have that are involved here, like picking things up and dropping things off, they'll all be prioritized for the next cycle here. So for instance, if they come in here and they're like, oh, I need food, The other AI task will know, hey, I'm in the storage room. I should probably pick up all the supplies I need, do whatever I need to do in here, drop things off, pick things up before I go back to my building and do work, or before I go back to the mines, or before I go back to chop trees. So it's going to make all the villagers a lot more efficient. And that is pretty much it for the chef for today. Nice path there, buddy. I got to fix that. The chef is pretty straightforward. He's an item converter. He converts raw foods and things that aren't really that useful into fantastic foods that your entire village is going to love. Now, there was one other thing that I really wanted to get to for the chef today, but I don't have time, unfortunately. I'll probably save it for the episode where we really focus on the tavern and entertainment at night and the bard, but it involves him coming out and helping out the patrons at night a little bit, which I think will be very interesting. But that is unfortunately all I got time for today. Like I said, guys, hope you enjoyed this overview of the chef and eating and food and all that stuff. If you have any questions, as always, drop them off in the comments and I will do my best to answer. And the chef's just gonna keep on cooking. I'll see you guys next time.